Sorry, Arabella. I know we got cut off on that last video. Pero aquí está mi perro. A mí me encanta mi perro, Lincoln. Hola, Lincoln. Okay. Well, put him down. Yes, let's put him down. Vamos a seguir. Ahora si puedes abrir su libro de tarea, your workbook, a la página 227. 227. We're just going to go through the indirect object pronouns, just have you guys work on those, and we will do the new tense, the present perfect tense when we get back. Okay. All right. So here we've got, as we were discussing and looking at verbs that use indirect object pronouns. So here we go. Let's read. Go ahead and many verbs that use indirect object pronouns, such as aburrir means what?
To bore.
Doler,
To hurt.
to ache or to hurt. Encantar,
To love.
fascinar,
To fascinate.
gustar,
To like.
and importar.
To be important to.
They use the same construction. And what is that construction? That construction is you have an indirect object pronoun plus a verb plus a subject. So here we see the example. Le is the indirect object pronoun. Then you have the verb, encantan, and then you have the subject, las películas de acción. So keep in mind, where is the subject? And I think that's why you were having difficulties with that sentence about vestidos. The subject is over here. Well, this won't highlight there. The subject is here at the end. So this gets conjugated, and remember, it only gets conjugated two ways, encanta or encantan, based upon whether this is singular or plural. Now, the indirect object pronoun is different. It does not, we don't decide what the indirect object pronoun is based upon the subject. We do that based upon the indirect object, okay? So this is translated, he likes action movies. So now you can use a plus a blank plus a noun or a pronoun with these verbs to emphasize and give clarity. So here's an example. A Rodrigo le gustan las flores. So notice, what's the subject in that sentence, Luke?
Rodrigo.
No.
Las flores.
Las flores. Remember this little formula. Indirect object pronoun plus what?
Plus verb.
Verb plus what?
Subject.
Subject. The subject is going to be after the verb with these verbs here, okay? Not like the sentences we've seen before in the past. The first thing you'll see is the indirect object pronoun. All right, so a Rodrigo, that's for clarification. Le is the indirect object pronoun. And then gustan, it's, notice, with an N at the end because we have flores. Flores is plural. So, and that just means Rodrigo likes flores. Or literally, the flowers are pleasing to Rodrigo. Now read this next sentence.
A él le gustan las flores.
Yes. So do you see here? We just replaced Rodrigo with the pronoun here. Él. So you can use, like we see up here, it's either going to be what? It's either going to be a noun or an indirect object pronoun. So you can use the noun or the pronoun. And this here is the pronoun. So here we see that a mí me. Repite.
A mí me.
A ti te.
A ti te.
A usted le.
A usted le.
A nosotros nos.
A nosotros nos.
A ustedes les.
A ustedes les.
Or a ellos les.
A ellos les.
A ellas les.
A ellos les.
Okay, so let's do this part here. And Arabella, you do it as you're reading through it. So, a mí
Me.
me. And read the rest of the sentence.
Aburre esta programa.
este programa. Translate.
To me, the program is boring.
Good. And then translation, a smooth translation is the program is boring. And to me, the program is boring. Or would we say the program is boring to me? Okay. The next sentence is a nosotros, and then our choices are nos o les. We look up here, nosotros, so it's got to be nos. A nosotros nos molestan los videojuegos. And notice, it's molestan with an N because it's plural. The subject is plural, videojuegos. Okay, the next one, Luke. Oh, and let me translate. The video games bother us.
A mi padre y a mí nos importan los actores de Hollywood.
Good. It's nos because it is plural. It's a mi padre y a mí. So you got that y a mí, but it's plural. So I got to go over here on this side, and it's nos. Translate.
To my father and me, it is important the actors in Hollywood.
Okay.
Of Hollywood.
Yeah, the actors in Hollywood are important to my father and myself. Okay. A Pablo y a Ramón les fascina el cine. Notice fascina does not have an N because the subject is cine. It's singular. So I would not have an N there. But it needs to be les because it's a Pablo y a Ramón. So it's plural and it's third person. It would be ellos. So it needs to be les. Okay, number 5. Oh, let me translate. The movies fascinate Pablo and Ramón. Mm-hmm.
A los
directores
les encanta trabajar con actores famosos.
Good. You're right. Les, because it's a los directores. Okay, that's clarification there. Because on these two, we usually always want clarification. On the other ones, it's not necessary. But we see here that it's directores, third person plural, so it's got to be les. Okay, the last one here. Oh, did you translate that?
The directors love to work with famous actors.
Mm-hmm. Número 6. A ti te duele la cabeza después de ver tantas películas. A ti te, it's a ti up here, so it's got to be te. And then duele la cabeza después de ver tantas películas. The subject, what is the subject is in that sentence? No. What is in pain? La cabeza. So it's not with an N because cabeza is singular there. So translating this is your head hurts after seeing so many movies. All right, let's move on to the next page. And this is 6B, 1A. I think the A got cut off up here. But so what we're going to do here is y'all are going to fill in the blanks, okay? Fill in the blanks. Okay, so the instructions here, we're going to read these sentences, and then the first blank, you're going to put the correct indirect object pronoun. And then on the verb that uses indirect object pronouns that go together, you're going to put the ending. So you're going to have to look at the subject. Don't look at the pronoun here and don't look at here the clarification. You got to look at the subject and that gets conjugated based upon the subject, okay? So many people look at this and think, oh, le is singular, so interesa. And they make this singular, but the subject is not le. The subject is comedias, which is plural, so it had to be interesan. All right, just think, oh, it's after, it comes after it. I got to look at what's being interested, what's being liked, what is it that is being fascinated. Is that the way you say it? Whatever, loved, liked, important, seems. Anyways, you get the gist. All right, so a Mari Carmen le, because Mari Carmen, you look and you think, oh, Mari Carmen, that is third person singular. So it would be le right there. And if you need to keep that before you, but I know you guys already know the indirect object pronouns. So let's keep moving. Here, go ahead. So number 2 would be a ellos.
Les.
Let's see if I can move this up. Sorry. Les what? ¿Molesta o molestan esperar mucho tiempo?
Molesta.
Les molesta. Good. So that should be... I don't think this is going to work. Sorry. A ustedes...
Le.
I'm sorry. It's a usted. A usted, so it would be le. A usted le parece or parecen interesantes los efectos especiales. So what is the subject over here?
Efectos especiales.
Good. And is that singular or plural?
Plural.
Plural. So is it parece or parecen?
Parecen.
Yeah, it's parecen. I'm not going to put this text in because it doesn't seem to be working well. Okay, now over here, well, maybe I can, do this. A mí what?
Me.
Good. A mí me. Sorry, I can't write with this pen either. A mí me importa. What's the subject?
El campeón de la liga.
Yeah. What's campeón?
Champion.
No.
Championship.
Championship. So that's singular. So a mí me importa. Me importa. Now a Sara y a Pilar.
Les.
Good. It's third person, plural. So les. And now this, I need to look. Bien las camisas. What's the subject?
Camisas.
Camisas. And that is plural. So it's got to be me quedan. So an A and an N. Sorry, I don't have a pencil to be able to write. All right. So now down here at the bottom, you will write you'll write these sentences. So let's just go ahead and the example. They give you the clarifier, a ti. So you know your pronoun is going to be what? The indirect object pronoun is going to be te. And then your verb is gustar, and then it's ir al cine. If it's a verb, it's always going to be, the verb is going to be singular. It's never going to be an in with a verb that you're liking. If you're liking to do something, no, remember, that will never be with an in. So, a ti te gusta ir al cine. Now, go ahead, read number 2 correct sentence here.
A Juan le molestan las películas de horror.
Good. A Juan le, because it's third person, singular. Molestan, it's with an N because the subject is películas de horror. This is películas, películas here is plural. So, read number 2.
A ustedes les interesan los actores.
Good. So it's les here. A ustedes les interesan. And this is with an N because of actores being plural. And this is les because ustedes is third person plural. So next one.
A Steven Spielberg le importa la ciencia ficción.
Good. Le here because Steven Spielberg is third person singular. And then importa, it's just importa because it's ciencia ficción. This is singular. All right. And then the next one.
A los criminales le fascinan las películas de acción.
Say that again.
A los criminales les fascinan las películas de acción.
Good. Les, L-E-S, because criminal.